Okay, so just a quick video to talk through how we could set this up. So I'll cover the 4 possible iterations of the text that appears under the image first, and then we'll talk about how to change the 2 different orders of the images for each participant. So what I would first recommend is when you are creating the questions for each image, I would recommend splitting each image and the questions relating to it into separate blocks so that we can work a little bit easier with these in the survey flow. So if I just start out, for example, and just do an image question, or just a question with an image in it, starting out. Let me use my panda. There's my panda. Okay, and then I want the question text to appear underneath. So I'm just going to pretend it's something like A. We'll worry about that now in 1 second. Then I have a page break. And I have some questions coming after this that are relating to that image. And of course I can put the image back in here again. That's perfectly fine. So now you have 2 options when it comes to the text that actually appears under your image. We can either create 4 different questions, one with each of the image and a piece of text underneath, or we can use pipe text to dynamically pipe in whatever option they get shown in the survey flow as embedded data. So it's self-explanatory if you do want it to be 4 questions and just to randomly show one or the other of them. What we would do is we would just go ahead and copy the question out 4 different times. So we'd have 4 questions, each with different text underneath. So we had A, B, C, D, for example. We had A, B, C, D. And then we would go into block options. We would go to question randomization. And then what we can do is we can randomize, go into advanced randomization. The only reason I say this rather than present only one of total questions is because we can set this to evenly present the elements in advanced randomization. Okay, so here it is. So I want to randomly present one of the 4 of these. So what I can do is I can just click and select all of these. And then I can click these into the random subset, and I want to randomly insert 1 question from the following list below, and I want to evenly present these. So basically what that means is that, and I need to actually move this up to the top, my apologies. So basically what that means is each person is only shown 1 of the following 4 questions from here, and they're evenly presented, so each person will get 1, but we're going to try and make sure that the images are presented an even amount of times. And we will click save. So that's the first way of doing it. If you do want just 1 question with dynamically changing text, what you would instead do is click into survey flow. We would add a new element and we would add a randomizer. Move that up to the very, very top, so it's the first thing that people get. Then inside we would get embedded data, and we would call this text, for example. And we would say A, and then we'd go ahead and duplicate this and have 4 different ones. And we would have text A, text B, text C, and text D. And obviously you can name this whatever you want. You could name it question 1 or image 1 if you wanted. Then you would go ahead and save the flow. And you would then basically just add some display logic, or just we'd bring this down, to 1 question. And we would add pipe text here to pipe in whatever one they were assigned. So we would go to pipe text, embedded data field, and text, which is the name of our embedded data field, and insert. And then that would pipe in whichever one they got assigned in the survey flow, which was either A, B, C, or D underneath. So that's the first way. I personally would recommend using the randomization option, and that's just purely because you'll have to set up 1 of those for each image question that you have, whereas if you do randomization you don't need to go through that, you just need to randomize them, and it makes life a bit easier. So that's the first question. Then the second question, as I mentioned, you would have basically 1 block for each of these. So you would have, for example, call this image 1, and then you would have image 2 down here, and you'd do the exact same thing. And once you have all those laid out, as well as the rest of your survey, we would go into the survey flow element to present 1 of the 2 options to these people. So if we were to go down the randomization option, I'm just going to go ahead and delete these embedded data fields here. And what we would instead do is we would just have 2 embedded data fields in here. We would have order 1 and order 2, for example. And then you would randomly present 1 of the following elements to these people. So some people, 50% of people are going to get the first order, and 50% are going to get the second order. Then we would go ahead and add a new element here and add a branch. For the conditioning, we would say if embedded data order is equal to 1, Then we want people to see image 1, followed by image 2, followed by image 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then what we would do is we would duplicate this branch, and we would say instead, then if order is equal to 2, then we want people to see image 6, image 5, image 4, image 3, image 2, and image 1 in that order instead. So each people are still getting the same images, it's still the same questions. The text is going to dynamically change inside underneath the question because you're randomly presenting one of the 4 options to them. But then you're doing the second part in your survey flow by randomly assigning people the order they're going to see them. So some people will see images 1 through 6, others will see images 6 through 1 in the opposite order. And obviously then you can have any questions that are going to be the same for everyone at the end or above these branches as well, but you're basically just randomizing the order of these, and each person is obviously only going to get one or the other of these as well, so you don't have to worry about duplication or anything like that. So I hope that answers your question, but if you do have any questions around this, please just let me know.